Hey, what's going on, family? Welcome to a new video. Y'all see the title, man. Let's get right to it. So many of y'all already know I've been in the real estate space for over a decade, actively doing the business, and also for the past 3 years I have a real estate coaching program, the 9 to 5 Flipping Houses family. I get a lot of people that come to me for coaching, and when people come to me, they don't know what exactly they want to do. And when I say they don't know what they want to do, they don't know if they want to fix and flip. They don't know if they want to get into rental properties. They don't know if they want to wholesale properties, which I cover all three of those, but I think it's important that everybody know the difference between those three and how is your life set up and which one best suits where you at in life right now. So let's get right into it. So when it comes to real estate, it's very important that you know your exit strategy. And what I mean by that is, how do you plan to get out of that loan, or how do you plan to get out of that property? That could be a fix and flip, like I just said. That could be you wholesaling a property, or that can be your refinancing out of a loan into another new loan, which allows you to cash flow. And let's talk about these three things because it's super important that y'all know where to start at. And I'm gonna give y'all my opinion on how you should go about actually doing real estate and getting into real estate investing. So most of y'all already know, but for those who don't know, wholesaling real estate, let's start there real quick. This is, a low barrier to entry. You don't have to go to a bank to get your credit check. You don't have to submit no pay stubs. You don't have to fix up a property. You don't have to have a real estate license in majority of the country. So it's super attractive for beginner real estate investors. When they hear about real estate and they hear about wholesaling, they want to go in that lane. And out of all of the strategies we're going to talk about today, I'll tell you right now, wholesaling real estate, if you're brand new, is probably the most time-intensive strategy. It's going to require a lot of your time because at this point, when you're a beginner, of course, you don't have a team in place. And we're going to talk about that as well a little later. But it's just going to be you. And it's basically when you find a deeply discounted property or a distressed owner, which means somebody who's going through a financial difficulty, they lost their job or whatever the case may be, and they can no longer afford a mortgage payment or something like that. And you give them an offer on the property lower than what the market value is. Basically, let's say if a property is worth $100,000 after it's fixed up, you make them an offer of $10,000. And let's just say that they accept. What you're going to do from there is go ahead and sell it to a real estate investor, somebody who actually fixes up properties and either resell them or rent them out to other to tenants. So you'll sell that contract or that property that you got under a contract for $10,000 to a real estate investor for, let's say, $20,000. And the reason they are willing to pay $20,000 is, again, because it's worth $100,000 after they fix it up with their own money. So you collect the spread in between, which is $10,000. You submit both of those documents to a title company. They do all the back end paperwork stuff. You wait a couple weeks and you get $10,000. Now, of course, there's a lot of stuff in between that, but that's just the concept of how wholesaling real estate works. And then you get some people who get into real estate, they want to get into fixing and flipping, which is probably the most popular. That is the most attractive because you see a property, like if you follow real estate investors on Instagram or YouTube, you'll see properties they purchase for, let's say, $20,000, put $50,000 into it, which now you at $70,000, and they sold it for $200,000, and they sell you a big check and things like that. And with this strategy, y'all, this is probably the most difficult because it's a lot of moving parts. You have to definitely have a lot of money up front, babysit contractors, a lot of communication involved. But again, you can run up a crazy bag doing fix and flips. And most people, when they get into it, they hustling. They don't treat it like a business. Just like with wholesaling as well, you're not treating it like a business, and you kind of the one doing a lot of the grunt work and, again, babysitting contractors. There's a lot of moving parts, and I would say most people who get into real estate investing and they start with fix and flip, it's probably a 70-75% chance you probably gonna end up losing some money, but you will learn a lot. Another strategy, and there, by the way, there are more than 3 strategies, but these are the most common. The third strategy, of course, is renting properties out. Some properties you could buy already fixed up, and all you gotta do is buy it, get a property manager to put tenants in there and start collecting cash flow. Or you can do what I just said, fix up the property after you fix it up instead of actually reselling it on the market to another buyer. What you're gonna do is actually refinance it and get a new loan, because 9 times out of 10, you're gonna buy that property either using your own cash or some type of lender, private lender or hard money lender, and the interest rate is going to be extremely high. So you'll refinance with a traditional bank like Wells Fargo or Chase at, you know, a more reasonable interest rate like 6, 7, 8%. And then you'll be able to cash flow whatever the mortgage is and whatever you rent the property out for. And the thing about this strategy is most people think that buying a rental property is going to save your life, is going to change your financial picture. But accumulating rental properties is a long-term play, y'all. You're going to need 10, 20, 30 rental properties to start seeing the money start changing your life. It's not going to change your life with 1, 2, 3 rental properties. It's a long-term play. You're in rental properties for more so the long term, not a short-term play, because you're going to have a lot of money at risk to cash flow $300 a month. They're the 3 strategies, and I wanna go into more detail about knowing exactly what you want to do with your life and where you're headed. Before we even get there, I want to talk about the 5 levels of real estate investing. I'm talking about you as the actual real estate investor and you want to make this a career. It's 5 levels that I think everybody should go through and it's super important. Which level 1, which is wholesaling real estate. And again, the reason that is level 1, and I think everybody should at least start there. You don't have to stay there for a long time, but you know, start there for a couple months just to get an idea of how real estate works, learning the foundation of real estate. Again, there's no capital involved really. You're building your network. You should be building your capital as you're wholesaling houses, and you just learning the game of real estate. You learn how to talk to buyers, talk to sellers, knowing how to run comparable sales, all that stuff. I think it's important everybody just go through that first level before they get to level 2. Level 2 is you're going to start doing small fix and flips, you know, $20,000 to $30,000 renovations, carpet, paint, maybe some small updates. But the reason you want to go through level 2 is because you want to learn a little bit about construction, right? You don't have to become an expert and know the ins and outs of plumbing and electrical work, but just knowing just a little bit, y'all. And that's going to take us to level 3. Level 3 is when I think you should start accumulating rental properties. And the reason you want to do at least one renovation, small renovation first, is because if you have tenants in your properties and they saying that the property needs some new plumbing, and you get a contractor to come out, the contractor tell you that it's going to cost $20,000 to fix this plumbing job. If you don't have no knowledge about construction, then it's easy to get taken advantage of. So that's why I like everybody to do a small renovation, nothing crazy. And then level 3, start accumulating rental properties. And in my opinion, you should not be the landlord, real. Pass the keys off to a property manager, because again, we in this business for freedom. Not to be getting calls in the middle of the night talking about my toilets and the sink is clogged up and all this stuff. And most people stop there, right? All they want to do is get rental properties. They want to get a lot of them, and which is completely fine. But then there's also another level, which is level 4. You want to do big renovations, right? 6-figure renovations, or you want to build or build a house from the ground up and do a new development. You know, that's level 4, more advanced. And if you went through the proper levels, then I think you will be ready to do a big renovation like I'm doing with my 6 unit right now, which is a crazy headache. And I'll save that for another video. I got a lot of updates on that. But yeah, big renovations, y'all. Your communication skills got to be on point, and you definitely going to have some money. Whether it's your money or not, you got to have some money readily available, so that when it's time to do these big renovations, things will happen, right? It will be hiccups. You want to make sure you got some cash reserves for those hiccups. And then you got level 5, which I think everybody would be attracted to this, which is becoming a real estate lender. Whether you become a hard money lender or a private lender to new up and coming real estate investors. And this is more so when you're a little older and you kind of done being out in the streets. And you know, when I say out in the streets, I mean talking about being on the field, fixing houses, dealing with tenants, dealing with contractors, things of that nature. And in my opinion, they the 5 levels of real estate investing, and I think you should go through all 5 of those and not just jump right into level 4 thinking you can turn a school building into an apartment building, because 9 times out of 10 you're gonna lose your money. And all of that takes me to my next point, where you are in life today. Some people get into the real estate investing space at 50 years old, at 40 years old, and they are married with 3 kids. And in my opinion, getting into real estate investing at that age and under those circumstances, and you want to get into fix and flips, you got to understand there's a time commitment with doing fix and flips, and you will miss a lot of time with your family and your friends, and just knowing, and your kids as well. and knowing that, you know, sometimes it can cause a lot of conflict in the household when you are doing these fix and flips and you on call basically 24/7. Something happened to the property, contractor's not showing up. You got to be ready to pop up and pop up and show out. So it's important to know where you at and what you can handle. Even with wholesaling real estate. Now, the times we live in now, you can wholesale real estate no matter what your circumstance is. If you got time on your side and if you got some grit in you, but you can do it all from home if you set up the proper, you know, the proper operations and the proper systems in place. We'll talk about that in a second. And that's why most people in their 40s and 50s, they are more attracted to buying rental properties, because with rental properties, and a lot of them, you know, they be turnkey. Some people buy turnkey rental properties just for the cash flow for the long term, because we only getting older, y'all. We only getting older. You can become rich and make money doing all levels of real estate. But knowing where you are is important. Of course, the earlier you start, the better. Because when you don't have kids and a wife and you living in the basement at your parents' house, that's the best time to start. Because it affords you to make mistakes, take some L's, learn the game. And if you watching this video and you under 25 and you don't got a lot of responsibilities right now, man, just go in. Just go in. When I started in my early 20s, man, I lost a lot of money, but at that time, it ain't kill me because I ain't have kids and a wife and had a house and all these bills. Because the older you get, the more difficult it definitely become. And this brings me to my last point. When you get into this business, man, try your best to actually structure it like an actual business and not just hustle. It's easy to get into the real estate game and all you doing is hustling and you feeling like you getting burnt out. Next thing you know, it's affecting, you know, your household and time with your kids and your family. Just because you start a LLC, y'all, that don't mean you have a business, man. I'm talking about structuring it like a business with the vision of, all right, I'm gonna get into this. I'm a hustle for the first couple months, but then I gotta immediately start looking for my first hire. Yeah, you're gonna be responsible for paying somebody weekly or monthly, however you structure that, but it's gonna save up time. Then you build on that. So you should be at the top, and then you got people below you doing certain tedious tasks that's time consuming. So you can free up time, and all your focus should be on is actually growing the business. Most of y'all heard the saying, working on the business and, you know, kind of not working in the business. And it's okay to always, you know what I mean, step in every now and then when you got to put out some fires and things like that. But most of us ain't we come from humble beginnings. We don't really know how to run a business, bruh. We making all this money by hustling. We don't know how to structure business. This is all new for all the millennials, people who born, you know, 1985 and up. This all new to us, right? This kind of money, all we used to know was get a job. So when you get into rather wholesaling, fix and flip, rental properties, make sure you go in with the intentions that I'm going to run this like a real business, like a real CEO. A lot of people call themselves a boss and a CEO just because they got an LLC. You stop the nonsense, bro. Like you're not a boss, you're not a CEO. You hustling. That's it. You hustle. And we got to get out of that. But you know, as we get more into this, because I'm gonna start talking about real estate a little bit more. I know I was trying to avoid it, but a lot of people want to hear from me about different things when it comes to real estate. So hope this video help y'all. We will get more into all those 3 different strategies: fixing, flipping, wholesaling, and rental properties. We're going to get more into detail in future videos. And again, be on the lookout for a video on my update on a 6-unit building. A lot of things have happened. I'm learning a whole lot, which was expected. You know what I mean? So look out for that. Hope y'all enjoyed this video, man. Let's get it.